The veteran Sherman testing it on the highway, guys. And this right here, I'm telling you what, was some sketchy business. Anyways, we got one of the fastest electric unicycles ever made right here. The veteran Sherman, which is a split off from the Gotway team. They went over, did their own thing. This is the cream of the crop, fastest they make. And this thing boogies, baby. And so we are on a 65-mile-per-hour highway. And I took this thing out, and we are headed up to the Royal Gorge, and we're going up to the bridge at the Royal Gorge. And this right here actually was the highest bridge, world's highest bridge from 1929 to 2001, where we're heading to. And we're coming from down in the Royal Gorge Canyon, and then I'm actually going up in elevation all the way up to where the bridge is. And I'm actually going to go in, and you got to stay tuned for the next video, because I just might be one of the first people in the entire world to cross this bridge on an electric unicycle. And I talked to the authorities and everything like that, because with a high suspension bridge, there is some security concerns going into it, and they got to make sure everything's all right. They got to make sure this thing's not going to be an explosive device or something like that going across the bridge or whatever. And so I got them to check it out, made sure everything was good to go. And y'all got to stay tuned for the next video, because I'll show y'all the whole thing of talking to them, everything like that. And then we go across. And once you cross that, is actually like, it's a secret path basically to get over there to a whole nother side of off-road trails, everything like that. And so it's worth the money to cross the bridge. And early in the morning and later in the day, you can cross it in a car, but you still got to pay the fee of like $25 to get into the park and then cross the bridge. So that's where we're headed to. But anyways, the highway, guys, I didn't think that this road was going to be this fast. I had no clue. I thought this was, from Google Maps, I thought this was just like a little back road, maybe 35 miles an hour. It wouldn't be that big of a deal. But a 65-mile-per-hour road, guys, with the wind blowing everywhere. And you got to see, I'm changing up my stance every which direction. I'm always bending my knees this way, changing my stance that way, and it's all because of the wind, guys. The wind out here is crazy, and you're going 45 to 50 miles an hour on this thing, which is exactly where I'm keeping it right here. I'm going about 45 to 50 on this thing the entire way right here, and the wind really, really affects you at that point. And looking back at it now, I got all kind of drag going on. I got the hood that's inflating. You see the hood on my jacket that's inflating with air. The jacket itself is a lot of drag at these speeds. And you got to think, man, if you could really get aerodynamic at these speeds, and I mean, have like a full, like latex suit and a real aerodynamic helmet, and you were in like full tuck, you could easily, dude, I see like 5 more miles an hour you could squeeze out of the thing if you were just aerodynamic in a full tuck, and there would be pretty much no wind resistance if you did it right. If you had on I'm talking like even the knee pads that were like deflectors for the wind and everything like that. With what I'm wearing, I'm just a drag in the wind, man. I'm like a parasail basically. And this wind coming across these plains out here was just hitting me every which direction, and I'm trying to compensate for it, and trying to lean a leg out here or lean the leg out there, and then operate the camera. And every time you swing the camera even a little bit, think about that, at like 45 miles an hour with wind gusts going too, one little hair movement in your arm, even in your finger, and moving that camera around, it almost threw me off balance a few times, And this right here, once I got back, I was like, dude, yeah, this was pretty sketchy. I don't advise doing this at all, and I probably wouldn't do it again, because, these things are, I have my trust in these unicycles like crazy. I fully trust them, as you see right here. I'm putting my life in this thing's hands, essentially. But you got to think, if you are a heavier rider, or, if anything like that, if I had been riding this thing for, 70 miles up till this point and been doing this, I would have to worry about heat and stuff like that maybe. But this right here is probably something that you shouldn't do, because if you did fall on this, you really can't predict how you're going to fall. And that's the main thing. If you could predict how you're going to fall, then that's one thing. You could guide yourself off to the right-hand side of the road or whatever. But that's one thing that I was thinking back on, after doing this, after riding this ride, particularly, was if you did have a cutoff, if something did go wrong, you're going so fast that you could easily go skidding across that median right there, into that other lane of traffic. And it's just one of those things, man. It can happen with a motorcycle. It can happen on rollerblades. You get hit by a car. It's just one of those things. But I'm an adrenaline junkie. This is what makes me feel good right here. This is the stuff I live for, and it really is, man. I've done a lot of stuff right here, but that really was blasting down the highway like that. That was pretty intense, man. I'll tell you that. And it's not something that yeah, you're just riding, but there's a lot of things that could go wrong potentially, and I'm not oblivious to that, by any means. I've been riding long enough to understand that right there. That particular scenario was not one you want to be in a lot of the times, and that's one thing that I wouldn't put myself in a lot of the times is a scenario like that where I'm going on a 65 mile per hour highway, trying to ride the shoulder of it. That's just not something you want to do. A road like this is fine. I can maintain, I can keep up with the traffic. I'm not on the highway. If I fall right here, I can kind of judge to where I'm going to fall. I can go and fall in the ditch right there if I need to, whatever it may be. But when you're booking like 45, 50 on this thing, you really can't predict exactly how your fall dynamic's going to be, if that, so happens. But you see right here, man, we're going all the way up. This is gorgeous, and this is out in southern Colorado. This is near Colorado Springs, but you still have to go a little bit farther south than Colorado Springs. You go a little bit farther south, and then kind of hook right up into the mountains a little bit as you go south. And down there is the Canyon City Prison, which is one of the oldest prisons in the United States, and this was actually a prison down there that was a territorial prison before Colorado was ever a state. And I'm going to be showing you all that in the next video. We're going to be having a historical video, and we're going to be looking all around the Royal Gorge, and it is going to be an absolute treat for you guys. I wanted to put this one in there before that just because, high-speed interstate riding. This one might pop, go viral, whatever it may be. And then I want to really show y'all a good, solid vlog type video for my next video of this whole adventure, man, because it was incredible. It really was quality. I mean, I don't want to spoil it for you, but epic adventure. Stay tuned for it. If you guys aren't subscribed and are seeing this, definitely hit that subscribe button because you're going to be able to see in detail, the whole the Royal Gorge, and you're going to be able to see everything you can do around it and riding all around it and everything like that. And it's going to be really, this was a awesome day. So the bridge we're going to be going to up here, the original toll to get across this bridge was 75 cents per person, and now it's $25 per person to get across it. And I went in there and I was like, hey guys, I was like, I presented the unicycle to them, and I fully I was not going to go across the thing unless I could take the unicycle. Fully was not going to go across it. And y'all got to stay tuned, dude, because I had to haggle with these people, man. I had to haggle with the sheriff, with the lady up front, and but you'll see what happens. It's awesome. The fella right here in the Nissan, that's my friend driving right there, and so he was. I asked him to pace me whenever I'm going, and so if I'm acting a fool around him, that's not some random car right there. That's my good friend right there. So we're just riding around, and if I need to stop or anything like that, he's kind of my backup, for being way out here where we are. We're going up here to the bridge, and he wanted to check it out too. He rides the King Song 16S. He's the one that loves that wheel a lot. But if we'd have been on the King Song 16S, probably we'd still be down there we'd still be down there in the middle of town, man. We wouldn't even got going yet. Yeah, but we've been absolutely just going on a full send around this state. We went up to Winter Park and did a bunch of late season skiing and snowboarding up there. Basically, the last week they were open, and it was slushy, man, but it was so much fun. We waxed the boards up really good, and just were riding from the very top peaks in Colorado on that really slushy late season snow. But it was fun, man. It was so much fun. It was so fast too. It was awesome. We did 5 days of snowboarding, and we went from Winter Park. We went to A Basin, and then we went all the way to Lake Granby. Checked out Lake Granby over there, and went to Grand Lake in Colorado, which is I think it's two of the biggest lakes in Colorado, and we strolled all around there. And we brought the other wheel too, the 16S, so he could ride that. and we strolled around, man, and it was just gorgeous out there. I'm talking gorgeous. The lake had just melted, all the ice had melted off the lake, and it was just beautiful, like sunset scene with mountain lakes, man, and some trail riding. It was awesome. But stay tuned for the next video coming up, guys. We are going to be crossing this bridge right here. If you stayed for this long, I'll go ahead and tell you, we got sheriff approval to cross this bridge over here. This was the world's highest bridge from 1929 to 2001.